So either you're in marketing or you run a business that has done marketing campaigns in the past and you're thinking, should I hire a marketing agency? Or what approach should I take? Oh, that's my next meeting. What approach should I take in doing a marketing campaign? Now, we run a marketing agency, and so one of our ongoing, I don't say challenges, but opportunities is to help the client that we work with understand where we need their help and where we need to just be given the freedom to do the job that we've been hired for. So I'm saying this in regards to marketing, but in any business, there's a certain point where you need the client to get out of their own way, essentially. So I'm going to share with you here some things. So here's some reasons some of the clients that we've worked with, and I'm not going to name any specific clients. It's not a malice thing. It's not a critical thing. We wish the clients we take on clients because we think we can be successful with them. And marketing is a risk, and the goal of doing a campaign with us is to mitigate risk. And because of that, and we've been more mindful about the types of clients that we take on, we've had a lot more success, as I'm sure you may have noticed with some of the growth over the last few months. So here are some reasons if you're a client of a marketing agency or you're a marketing agency wondering why your clients aren't getting good results, or you're just a business owner being like, hey, what do I need to do to make sure this engagement with this marketing company, Sidi.io, is good, right? So here are some things. So client takes too long to make a decision or provide information. So yeah, like one of our value propositions is that you kind of give us the information we need and then let us fly, right? And sometimes that back and forth can take a little bit long. We get that there's like a bit of bureaucracy with bigger companies and stuff like that, but really the goal is for us to be as nimble and swift as possible, because your competitors and the marketplace, especially with digital marketing, moves very quickly. So one thing that as a client you can do is make sure that you get back very quickly. Another thing is that the client's like, hey, I don't know where to start. This is like at the beginning, right? They're like, I don't know where to start. So they hire us, and then we not only tell them where to start, we draw out a whole strategy, and then we're like, hey, this is where we're going to start, this is where we're going to go, and then by here we'll be there, and we'll need this much time to ramp up and to discover audiences and to do split testing and to embed the codes and blah, 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 right? The problem is a few weeks into it, the client reads a blog post or sees a video and then it's good. I think it's good that the clients do their education. I'm educating on marketing. I'm educating on different parts of my business, finance, HR, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like you watch a video or read a blog post, and it's like it's a very generic article or video, not having any understanding of your business or the client's business, your strategy, where you're at, what you sell, your marketplace. And when we're putting together a strategy, we're taking all of those things into consideration. So what happens is the client comes back, or they forward us an email and they say, hey, check out this blog post. Have you ever heard of ClickFunnels before, or Digital Marketer? And it's like, yeah, we know all the things out there, the resources. We use some of the resources that are out there. But what happens is the client ends up kind of micromanaging and doubting that we're capable. And then they kind of, they start watering down the good strategy that we're producing with some ad hoc things that will never work, because or they could work in some capacity, but if they would, we would have kind of brought it to the table, right? Or we're doing a version of it. So yeah, micromanaging the strategy is kind of one of these things that you can do to be a client, to not be a client that fails. They get cold feet and buckle. So what I mean is, we say, I'm pretty clear and transparent about the fact that, there are different types of marketing agencies. You'll get the random cold email or LinkedIn message being like, hey, we'll get you 1,000 leads tomorrow. Get your leads. And we try and be a little bit more realistic, mostly because the companies that we work with are a bit larger. They're tech companies. They've tried it themselves. And so we don't go in promising the world. What we do say is that it'll take us 3 months to figure out who your audience is, the creatives that will work, the keywords that will work, the kind of the funnels, the systems, the processes that we need to put in place to make sure that we're the right fit as us working with your organization to ramp it up. And in that 3 months, our goal is going to be to break even on your ad spend and the retainer that we have in place, right? So we try and manage expectations up front. I think, well, a couple of things. A lot of marketing agencies over-promise, and then obviously under-deliver. But then also clients, as a business owner, you may have or a marketer, there's so much information nonsense out there where it's like, oh, we're going to get you a million leads, we're going to get you so many leads, and it's like, it takes time to get there. It does take time. It's not impossible. I mean, it also depends on the industry, like golf courses, you hit a switch, you're going to get something straight away. You know what I mean? A complex tech company, SaaS product, it's going to take a little bit of time, right? And it will happen, but it'll take a little bit of time. So I think just understanding that. The example that stands out to me is like when you hear kind of like big ticket items, and then they like don't want to spend anything on marketing, right? So like the one that pops out to me is like insurance or real estate, where it's like, hey, we'll spend like $500 on marketing, and then we want to make like a $500,000 sale. Well, it's like, sorry, like your competitors are probably bidding a lot more. Like it's an auction. All these systems are auctions, Google and Facebook and what have you, right? They're all auctions. So usually the market dictates how much it's going to cost you to get a lead, not kind of like what your budget is, unfortunately, right? So I think what we try and do is make a concerted effort to have an understanding of, what your competitors are doing, so that we can kind of set up a realistic budget so that you will be able to get a return on investment, right? And I think any marketing company that just kind of blindly takes your money and says, hey, we're going to like get results, well, they're not paying attention to the fact that like for insurance, it's $30 cost per click. That's crazy, right? Like there's some companies, some keywords that we're bidding on that are $50 for one click, right? And it's like, you think you're going to get a lead for, we're going to make a sale for 10 clicks? Probably not, right? So I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but I mean, what I ultimately mean is the getting cold feet is justified if you feel like it's not going to work. But then I think if you're investing in marketing, you have to feel confident that like I'm going to give it the time that I'm committing to. Like if I'm saying, okay, I'm going to do it for a year or 3 months or what have you, like our team wouldn't recommend 6 months or a year if we didn't think we can do it in that time. And a good marketing agency will come back and be like, you know what, this is what's not working, and this is what we need to do to make it work, right? So ultimately, we're playing that role, not just like not just trying to promise the world and underdeliver. Here's another one where like we meet business owners that like they think a marketing campaign will save their business instead of them kind of doing like the hard work, I guess. And I'm saying this as a business owner myself. Like when I first started my business as a marketing agency, I didn't do a marketing campaign right away. And I have my regular social posts, video, I do sometimes, but like I actually went to my network on LinkedIn, picked up the phone, and started hitting up pretty much everyone I knew, setting up meetings, Zoom meetings, coffee meetings, what have you, and kind of doing it the old-fashioned way. And I think what happens is, especially for new business owners, they get scared because a few months in, they realize how difficult it is, and they get a sense that, is there a way that I can augment, not laziness, because I don't think it's laziness, but it's like augment my fears, or like take the burden of me doing it and pass it on to someone else. But then you're actually just passing it on to someone who is definitely not going to care about your business as much as you do, right? Because obviously you care about your business more than anyone else, right? So like if you're a new business, or you're trying to save your business, like doing a Google or Facebook campaign is not going to save your business necessarily. There's always the outliers, and I'm sure if you go to Google and type in like Facebook saved my business, you're going to find something, right? But I'm talking about like the consistent, repeatable stuff, right? They get scared. Yeah, they get scared because they don't understand, right? So here's another thing and it kind of falls into like the cold feet stuff, where it's like, a lot of these concepts on Facebook and Google, they are complex and they are difficult, and there's a lot of like metrics and CTR, SEO, SEM, all these acronyms and things that kind of can overwhelm people. And I think what's important is to build a relationship with a marketing team that you trust, right? And when I say trust, I don't mean like my clients trust us, and there's also substance to back that up, of course. But I think they also trust the fact that when things aren't going well, I'm going to come back to them and be like, hey guys, it's not going well. Like, what do we got to do? Do we got to fix the messaging? Do we need a better offer? Do we need to target a better audience? Do you need to like select a different product or service for us to kind of lead with? Is your website shitty? You know what I mean? Like, what can we do to improve the website? So I think a good marketing team will come back, if you trust them, they'll come back with suggestions and ideas and kind of take the lead on things that you should do to be better, rather than allowing you to remain scared and kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs being like, is this working? Is this not working? It's like, a good marketing team will like kind of be in your face and be like, hey, it's not working. It's not working. So you're probably wondering, okay, so what clients do well? Like the clients that do well, they're the ones that, honestly, and this is, I don't mean this to sound harsh, but they tell us their goal, they give us their money to spend, and we spend it on Google and Facebook and our retainers. They provide us what we need I wrote it down. They provide us what we need in a timely manner, and then they get the F out of our way, right? And I kind of joke about this, but sometimes the more busy clients that are like, they have so many other things to worry about, they do the best because they hired a professional, they hired a seasoned team of, senior marketing people who know what they're doing. They downloaded the information to us, and then we're kind of hitting the ground running. Now we know what we need to do, so we're coming back and we're saying, okay, like here's the strategy, here's a few exercises that we should do together to make sure that we're downloading the information appropriately, that we understand your audience, that we understand kind of the good messaging. And now it's like, go back to your business, do your job, and we'll do our job, right? And sometimes I think I'm in my head, I'm thinking of over the last 4 years, like the clients that have done really well, that we worked with for 2-3 years, are the ones that they know how to hire the right people, they pay good money to hire the right people, and then they just get out of the way and they let us do a good job. And also, that doesn't mean that we're given enough rope so that we can make sure that we're, delivering, and we are, don't just, there's a fine balance, right? You also want to make sure that, you're doing your due diligence, that you're finding references for your agency or whoever you're hiring, seeing substance, looking at case studies, asking around, are they good? What is weak? I mean, everyone has strengths and weaknesses, right? So, like, one thing for us is we make sure that the client isn't waiting for us to get to them. We're always kind of in their face, being like, hey, like this is what we need, and we're making sure that we're providing enough touch points to them that they don't need to micromanage us, because the reality is when a client micromanages, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It ends poorly. They get scared. I think it's and I think this is a kind of now that I've been a business owner for 4 years or 3.5 years, when I hire good people and I let them do their thing, and they do a stellar job, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like amazing, better than I could do myself, right? Then sometimes when I hire other people or contract certain things, and I'm like kind of micromanaging and being like, hey, what about that? What about this? And then it's like they get annoyed, and then I get annoyed, and I'm just like, oh man, like why am I doing this, right? And then I feel like, oh, was this a waste of money? And I think, okay, well, I probably should have spent like $1,000 instead of like $200 to do this. You know what I mean? So I'm guilty of it too. So I'm saying all these things from a loving place, that you hire a marketing person or an agency based on kind of the right things, and that your expectations are managed, and that you're also doing the right things, right? Because if we've had I've had clients like they hire us to do the strategy, we do the strategy gets implemented, they get like 200 leads in like the first month and a half. Someone comes in who's like, oh, like what's going on over here? Like I want to, this sounds great. Like, oh, this marketing stuff, because everyone wants to like piggyback on what's working, right, in their company. So they come in, they micromanage the strategy, they take over the strategy from us, and then it's like 3 months later, and like we're getting kicked out of the door. So it's like, and they have no results, right? And it's like, oh yeah, that marketing campaign didn't work. Well, it's like, well, when we did it our way, it worked. And again, I'm not saying that we know our client's business better than they do. I'm saying I know our business and our offering and our product, our service offering, we know it better than the clients that we're hiring, or the clients that are hiring us to do it. So I hope this, I'm curious to see how this will be received, because it's a bit forward, and it's a bit, it may turn some people off, but the reality is, if this video turns you off, you're probably not the type of client that should be hiring us anyways, right? the types of clients that should be hiring us are, they're confident in the rest of their business. They're hiring us to grow their business, not save their business. They're not betting they're not betting their savings on this working. And at the same time, because when you're desperate, you come across as desperate, and then you can't sell, and then people can feel that, and it's like when things are going poorly, you come across as desperate. I know I felt it too, right? And it's like maybe that's why I'm making this video right now, because it's going kind of okay, right? So and people have been asking, hey, how are things going so well with everything going on in COVID? Okay, now I'm on a tangent. I'm 15 minutes in. But I think this is an important message. I think this is an important message that when you hire a contractor, when you hire a team, even when you hire someone internally, pay them well, make sure you vet them, do testimonials, do your research, know enough to be dangerous, right? Like the clients that we work with, they've read blog posts on retargeting and Facebook ads and lookalike audiences and conversion tracking and the pixels. They know at a high level, they just don't want to do it, right? So that's when they bring us in, and we know it at an advanced level, and we'll do it well, right? So so do your due diligence when you hire someone. Be dangerous. Do your research so you're dangerous enough to put someone on their guard, an expert on their guard, because you do have to manage it. I'm saying don't micromanage, but you still have to manage the relationship to a certain extent, right? You got to show up, and make sure you show up when you hire a contractor too, right? It's if the contractor's waiting for you, that's not good, right? That's not a good sign at all. So thank you for joining me for my morning tea. Look at that, I'm late. I'm 6 minutes late for my meeting where the notification went off. So have a lovely day. Comment below with any questions you have. And good luck out there working with vendors and contractors and even hiring. And we shall talk soon.